Are short-term rentals destroying our community? That's what some people fear. But a new independent study reveals something completely different. I'm Aleksandra Homage-Groton. I'm a realtor at RE/MAX Fine Properties here in Flagstaff, and today I'm breaking down the actual data on STRs in Flagstaff and Williams, and the results might surprise you. Let's acknowledge the elephant in the room. When people hear short-term rentals, they worry about corporate investors buying up homes, neighborhoods losing their characters, housing becoming unaffordable for locals, and communities turning into ghost towns. Those are legitimate concerns. So the Northern Arizona Association of Realtors commissioned an independent study by RRC Associates to get the actual numbers. Let's see what they find out. First, let's talk about who actually owns these properties, because this might be the biggest surprise. It's not corporate investors. 95% of STR owners in Flagstaff and 97% in Williams own just one property. That's not a corporation. That's just your neighbor renting out their cabin or a local family supplementing their income. And here's the kicker. Nearly half of all STRs are locally owned. 42% in Flagstaff, 46% in Williams. These are Coconino County residents or locally based LLCs. Of the remaining owners, most are from elsewhere in Arizona, primarily Phoenix. Only 9% of Flagstaff STRs and 18% of Williams are owned by out-of-state residents, with California being the most common. This is not Wall Street buying up our town. This is largely a locally rooted market. Okay, but how much of our housing stock are we talking about? In Flagstaff, STRs represent 8% of all housing. In Williams, it's 17%. Yes, that's grown since 2018, but let's put it into perspective. Compare that Sedona at 31% or Summit County, Colorado, home to Breckenridge at 28%. We're actually on the lower end for mountain resort communities. And here's something important. Most of these are single family homes that were likely always going to be second homes or vacation properties anyway. 64% of Flagstaff STRs and 73% of Williams are full single family homes, not apartments that could have been long term rentals. Now, let's talk about what STRs actually contribute to our local economy, because these numbers are substantial. In 2024, STRs supported 1,630 jobs in our area. That's 1.8% of all jobs in Coconino County. These aren't just cleaning services, it's restaurant workers, tour guides, retail employees, all supported by STR guests. They paid $11.9 million in sales and room taxes last year. That's $5.7 million to the state, $4.8 million to our cities, and $1.4 million to the county, plus another $752,000 in property taxes from STR owners. STR guests spend $208 million in our communities. On restaurants, recreation, retail, transportation, that's money flowing directly into local businesses. To put that in perspective, STRs generate 9% of the jobs and 8% of the labor income in our tourism economy. They're not replacing our economy, they're fueling it. But wait, aren't STRs just taking business away from hotels? Actually, no, the data shows they're complementary, not competitive. STRs now make up 33% of our lodging inventory. But here's the interesting part. They only account for 16% of room nights and 27% of room revenue. So let's come back to those original concerns with what we know now. Corporate investors? No, 95% own just one property and nearly half are locally owned. Housing crisis? STRs at 8% of Flagstaff housing, 17% of Williams, and mostly single family homes that likely wouldn't have been long term rentals anyway. The real issue is that new housing construction hasn't kept pace with population growth. Are we hurting the economy? Actually, supporting 1,630 jobs and generating nearly 12 million in tax revenue that funds our schools, roads, and services, ghost town neighborhoods. These properties generate significant economic activity. Empty vacation homes would contribute far less to our community. Look, I'm not saying STRs are perfect or that we shouldn't have reasonable regulations, but the data is clear. This is not a crisis. It's a locally rooted market that's providing real economic benefits to the community. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to know more about the local short-term, long-term rental market or other investment strategies here in Flagstaff and Northern Arizona, please leave a comment and subscribe.